presentation has been provided by the Freeman Foundation of New York and Stowe, Vermont, and the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Corporation of New York, the Ford Foundation, the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, by UK Trade and Investment.
In the heart of the Scottish Highlands, Walker's has been producing baked goods since 1898. Thousands of U.S. retailers turn to Walker's for advice on the best products for their local market. Companies that look forward look to the U.K.
And by BMW Group.
Just as important as how the air affects the car is how the car affects the air.
Intense fighting between U.S. forces and insurgents in the Iraqi city of Fallujah. The clashes are the worst since a ceasefire was agreed 2 weeks ago. Jordan says it's foiled a plan by al-Qaeda to launch a massive chemical attack. Tony Blair's Middle East policies are criticized by more than 50 former British diplomats. Welcome to BBC World News. My name is Mike Embley. The Iraqi city of Fallujah has again become a battlefield. For several hours, U.S. Marines and insurgents were locked in the worst fighting seen in the city since a shaky ceasefire came into effect nearly 2 weeks ago. At least 1 Marine and 8 militiamen have been killed. The U.S. military says militiamen opened fire on them with rockets, mortars and heavy machine guns. The Marines replied by calling in tanks and helicopter gunships. In Baghdad, a powerful explosion killed 2 American soldiers.
A few hours after it was reported that President Bush had decided against an all-out assault on Fallujah, fresh fighting broke out there around a mosque. American troops came under fire from mortars and rocket-propelled grenades. At one stage, the Marines became pinned down and had to call on support from helicopter gunships.
This is a mosque being used by the enemy to fire at coalition soldiers. You can see the firing coming from the different windows. Sadly, we're getting more and more film of the latter rather than of the former.
At least 1 American soldier was killed and 8 were wounded in the worst fighting since a tentative ceasefire came into effect. President Bush believes an all-out assault on Fallujah would simply trigger fresh bloodshed and deepen anti-American sentiment here. Instead, there's to be joint patrols involving American and Iraqi security forces starting in the next few days. But restoring peace in Fallujah depends on the response of around 2,000 guerrillas still holed up there. Meanwhile, in Baghdad, American troops had surrounded this building in the center of the city after receiving a tip-off that it was producing chemical weapons. When they raided the property, it exploded, destroying military vehicles, killing 2 American soldiers and wounding a total of 13 others. Helicopters were brought in to evacuate the injured. Onlookers cheered the mayhem and chanted anti-American slogans.
It's not clear what caused this blast, but it's thought the building had been used to store chemicals. Local residents believe that coalition chemical weapons experts had been in attendance here.
A coalition spokesman would neither confirm nor deny the presence of members of the Iraq Survey Group set up after the war to hunt for weapons of mass destruction. Meanwhile, in the southern city of Basra, oil exports from the main terminal there have now resumed following Saturday's suicide bomb attacks. An al-Qaeda operative, Abu Musab al-Zahawi, has claimed responsibility for the attacks